All right, so a few months ago, I came up with this video idea that I was gonna take a really long time to make, minimum 2 weeks just to even like record it, and then who knows how long to edit it. I was gonna grind it out over spring break, but I ended up trying to get a job. I still do plan on making that video though, and it'll probably just be more like a summer project. But as I said, I got a job over spring break. I work as a busser slash dish person at Cracker Barrel, the widest restaurant in America. Actually, mine isn't really that white anymore. Up until like a few years ago, though, whenever you would walk into that place, you could just smell the racism and prejudice on the walls. But these days, it's actually probably more black people than white people. I'm gonna be honest. But as I said, I got hired as a busser, and it's honestly a really easy job. At least it's easy mentally. You just grab your little your little plastic tub thing, and then you get a rag, get some soapy water on it, and then clean tables after people leave. Bring the dishes and trash and stuff back to the dishwashers, and then do it again for a few hours until you clock out. Speaking of the dishwashers, that area, the kitchen, the dish area, is absolutely rancid. The way it works is basically a big conveyor belt. So there's one guy, he takes the dishes, rinses them, briefly washes it with a sponge before putting it back on this little rack thing, which is then pushed into the main dishwasher, and then like this big industrial sized dishwasher thing. And then some guy will look at the clean dishes to make sure they're clean, dry them off, and then the last guy will take those clean dishes to different areas of the kitchen. So like the grill line, the main front area, which I'll actually get into in a minute, that kind of thing. And on my first day there, that's what they had me do for my first ever shift, carry dishes around. And honestly, I absolutely hated it. It was hot in that kitchen. I was burning my hands on the hot dishes that were like fresh out of that dishwasher. I hated it, and it was also so tight in that kitchen. It's so tight trying to move around through the aisles. But I'll get into that in a second. So it was getting so most of that was just getting used to the way the kitchen worked, and as I said, I absolutely hated doing it. For starters, the kitchen area just like sucks in general, specifically the floors. The floors are mad slippery, and I, along with a lot of my coworkers, have slipped and almost eaten shit on it so many times. So I was talking about the aisles earlier. So the kitchen is split into these three aisles. The first is where most of the servers are when they're out on the floor. Basically, where all the butter, syrup, coffee creamer, drinks, all that good stuff is kept so they can get it out quickly to their tables. The next aisle is the grill line, which is the tightest of the aisles, and I absolutely hate it because there's usually like four people in the grill line at once, and that's where most of the dishes go. So you have to wiggle your way through there. So it's a huge pain, but it's pretty self-explanatory. It's where all the food's made. And then third aisle is where stuff like dumplings and vegetables are made, and I think they also make like hash browns there too. I don't really know. I don't go over that often. There's usually only two people working back there at any time, so that's where I would usually walk to get from one side of the kitchen to the other. I actually found out recently though that you're not really supposed to because they'll spin around with hot pans and stuff all the time. So it's kind of just dangerous, I guess. I'm not much a fan of like working in the kitchen because I'm always nervous about bumping into someone or messing something up and pissing someone off. So working as a busser is way better for me because people aren't always constantly leaving. You actually spend a fair bit of time just standing around and waiting, which gets boring, but it's nice to have a little break in your back. That's the biggest downside of being a busser is leaning over tables constantly. It just hurts your back. But this might just be a thing for me because I'm a towering absolute behemoth, 5 foot 10 and a half giant. So, not everyone will be able to relate to that. Working in any place like this, you will have coworkers, and thankfully, all of mine are pretty nice, except for this one grumpy old lady in the back who lost her voice, so I could not understand her, and she would get mad at me all the time because I couldn't hear her. But thankfully, that was only my on my first day. I thought she was gonna be like that forever, and that was just her. But no, it was just my first day, so it wasn't that big of a deal. All the waitresses there are also really chill. I haven't had any full conversations with any of them, so I can't really tell, but they're nice enough. Actually, there's one waitress. Her name starts with an A, so I'll just call her Ava. And she is the baddest out of all of them and is genuinely my work crush. And that's what I would have said until a couple weeks ago. You see, when I was working, I found out she was an absolute menace. I was cleaning a table, and while I was cleaning it, I found a phone that someone had left. Now they told us what to do if someone left like a to-go box or something, which is just to throw it away with the rest of the trash on the table. We're not dealing with it. You leave it on the table for a little bit, but if they don't come back, then just throw it away. The property, like stuff like that, they didn't really tell us what to do. So when Ava walked over, I asked her, I said, "Hey, someone left their phone here. What am I supposed to do with it?" She just took the phone. She didn't say a word to me. She looked at me, took the phone, pocketed that John, and then left. Okay, so she may have taken it to the person at the hostess stand, the hostess, in case that person came back, but the way she took it was a little sketchy, but then again, I didn't really say anything about it, so if she did steal it, I'm also responsible in a way. I'm a little bit of an accomplice. Actually, while on the subject of like waitresses and customer service people, just a little something. Those people who are so disrespectful to their servers and waitresses and whatnot, and other customer service people like in retail, you're just a bad person if you do that. Some people just try to make their jobs harder for no reason when they're just trying to get paid and go home. Being rude to your servers or other customer service people doesn't even benefit you. It doesn't make them quote like work harder like some people think it does. They just start trying less, if anything. If they have someone who's an absolute scumbag, then they will just take their sweet time with that person's food. Just something to keep in mind. But on the end of the spectrum, the absolute saint customers, I love them so much. Not only are they usually the really nice people, but typically they're also the people that will like stack their plates and glasses, not have sugar and salt spread all over the table, making my job 1,000 times easier. Yeah, that's just something I wanted to rant about for a second. Anyway, back to other coworkers. Not all my coworkers are potentially criminals, though. The main guy I work with, we'll call him Aiden. Not because his name starts with an A like I did with Ava, but because before I knew his name, Aiden was my best guess. He really just looks like an Aiden. But anyway, he was the only guy I knew going into this job because I met him at orientation. I remembered him because he was slurping down the food we were giving for free during orientation. He was the only person eating. Now, the first weekend I worked with him, we didn't really talk, but the following weekend, Easter Sunday, it was packed, so we were both out on the floor the entire day. It was one of those few times where we actually need both busters out on the field. And I talked to him for the very first time. The very first conversation we ever had, he asked, "What time do you get out of here?" I told him, "Oh, I'm out of here too." And he didn't get to leave till 4, so he leaned over and whispered to me, he said, "Fist yourself." That's quite the first impression, if you ask me, but whatever. But he's pretty chill. There's this other dude, his name starts with an I, so I'll just call him Ian. Aiden actually told me he kind of looks a lot like Benson Boone, which I don't really see. I guess he's a similar hairstyle, but whatever. He's actually my favorite out of all my coworkers. He's those people that like will go around the restaurant and go like they'll ask people like, "Is everything good? Can I get you anything?" He's that kind of guy. The thing is though, after oh boy, probably a couple weeks ago, I just I showed up to work one day. He was not there. I haven't seen him ever since, and I'm really upset about that because I actually really liked him. So hopefully Ian comes back. Then there's my manager. We'll call him Big Jerry. You'd understand that name if you knew him. I don't mean to say that as like he's fat. He just has this way of making himself known. Like his aroma really says, "Hey, I own you. You do what I say, or else you can get the hell out of my restaurant." He has this aroma, and I don't know. He has so much aura. Last coworker I'm going to talk about is this dude we'll call Terrence. Not much to say about him. He just showed me how the kitchen worked, where everything was, and how to bus tables. Okay, here's the thing about him. I don't know what it was. I just really did not like him. I don't know what it was. I didn't like him at first. He's chill now. I'm chill with him now. I wasn't like disrespectful. He didn't say anything either. That's the thing. I don't know why, but I just really didn't like him at first. But he's pretty cool. I've talked to him for a little bit. I feel like I've spent a lot of this video complaining, so I'm gonna wrap this up with some pros about working here. Pro number one: after your first month of working, you get a 50% discount if you eat in, and a 30% discount if you get food to go. Pro number two: this might be exclusive to my Cracker Barrel, but my manager is actually really chill. At least my general manager is. One of my managers yelled at Aiden when he didn't take the trash out, but like he needs a manager to open the back door so he can take it out, and she just didn't open it for him. I really expected my manager to be an absolute scumbag. I've watched a lot of people on YouTube and TikTok complain about having crappy managers, so that's kind of what I was expecting going into it. But my manager is really chill. And pro number three: as I said earlier, it's a pretty easy job. You spend a lot of time standing around, and you get paid to do it, so that's pretty nice. Okay, I want to start doing these more at the end of videos like this. I want to do these like little end cards, just talk about a few things that are whatever's going on, that I don't want to make a full video about, but I still think it's worth mentioning. Recently I've been live streaming a lot recently over here on YouTube. I started out like live streaming on Twitch. I did for like every day for like a week or so, and then I don't know. I don't really like Twitch that often or that much. So I've been streaming here on YouTube, so you can go check it out. So yeah, it's pretty fun. I might be going live later tonight, actually. So if you're watching this video on day of release, hey, there's a chance I'm live streaming right now. Another thing, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, another thing. Apparently, Mineplex is gonna come back as a Minecraft server. That's the main Minecraft server I used to play Skywars a lot back on back in the day. So who knows? I might start making Skywars content again. Like the footage you're watching right now is most likely Skywars. I haven't really decided what footage I'm gonna use yet, but it's most likely Skywars. And that's probably about it. So yeah, I'm gonna get back to making videos regularly. I know it's been a whole bunch of nothing from me, and it's not that I don't like making videos. It's just that my motivation is really up and down, and then sometimes I have no incentive to make videos. But you know what? I really want to again. So this summer we're going on a grind. I'm gonna try and stream at least 4 days a week during the summer. I think I can do that. So yeah, that's about it. Hope you all have an amazing evening, and I will see you hopefully in a few days with another video. Goodbye.